the head coach of the world champion Toronto Raptors. He is Nick Nurse. Nick, first off, thanks for your time. Thanks for agreeing to do this. And for those that don't know, explain your personal FGCU and Southwest Florida connection. You are not a stranger to the 239.
That's for sure. I'm actually a resident here. Got a home in Fort Myers, and my lovely wife was a volleyball player at FGCU. So very, very strongly connected down here. That's for sure.
Well, Nick, one of the things I discovered about you, and when we were having you on, I saw you brought the guitar with you. So I'm just curious, any complaints from anyone in the hotel of either early morning or late night, serenading that's going on right now here in Southwest Florida?
Just a few complaints here and there, but I get a lot of complaints about my guitar playing, so I'm used to it. So that's the way it goes. I'm working on it.
So you're saying there's a chance that maybe 10, 11 o'clock at night, if somebody walks through the hotel bar, maybe you'll be there doing your own karaoke? Is that what you're saying?
No, I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say that. It usually doesn't leave my room.
Okay.
But no, I think I got a ways to go before I'm going to be doing any solo performing. I could blend in with a band here and there, but not on my own yet.
Did you make the call on FGCU? I mean, and how quickly did this come about? Because it was all of a sudden you guys are in a holding pattern,
Yeah.
and then it was like everybody had to scramble. Obviously, it's only 3 hours from where you're going to end up being in a week or so. Why FGCU?
Well, we researched a lot of things. I think we kind of started down with we wanted a drivable distance was the first thing we wanted to do once we knew we weren't going to kind of relocate back in Toronto. We just had a lot of border immigration type of things that we didn't want to have to fight through or rush them. We wanted them to, the public officials and the government and stuff to do their things the way they wanted to do them without trying to give us any special considerations. Then we started researching a lot of areas and just seemed like this area kept coming up in our leadership calls kind of day after day. And so I got a hold of Ken Kavanaugh and they were swift to say, we'd love to have you. And then we started looking for places to stay. And that really probably put it over the hump. We found a hotel with just us in it. And, that's really key that we thought we could maintain a safe environment.
Was it, I don't know about a tough sell, because I know all your players are here, but I know there are some players that weren't necessarily keen on the idea of restarting. How much of a sell was this to your players that, hey, you're going to have to leave your family for the bubble for however long in Orlando, but we're going to start it a few weeks earlier in Southwest Florida? Was this at all a sell to the players? Did you have to convince anybody of anything?
No, not really. I think it's a really good question. I think, even me personally, and I've listened to like Fred VanVleet here in the last couple of days, one of our players. I think we were all eager to try to figure out how to restart and how to do it in a safe way and how to get our team back. I think we've got a bunch of guys that are first of all very they really love playing basketball. They're very enthusiastic about the game. There's a lot of guys that are real pros and put their careers and all that work on that on a daily basis in the forefront of their mind. So I think our guys were ready, and it wasn't much of a sell. Everybody was okay. Everybody's in agreement. We certainly bounced the ideas off the players as a whole before we made any decisions and plans. But again, I think right as it was coming up, a couple days before, I know how I felt. I was like, man, this is going to be a long time here. I'm kind of used to being home and being with the family and all that stuff. This is going to be quite a journey, really. So, but we got here. Things are great. They've been amazing at FGCU. Everything here at the hotel has been great. It's very safe. That's the main thing. We've done well with the safety part of it. The facilities and everything have been outstanding, and we feel good. We feel good, and the guys look amazing and sound amazing at this point.
He's Nick Nurse, the head coach of the Toronto Raptors, in town at FGCU in Alico Arena, getting ready for when they board the bus to Orlando in a little more than a week and resume their season by the end of the month. You know, we've seen a lot about the protocols that you are all having to go through, not just when you get to Orlando, but even here in Southwest Florida. Did we read it correctly that at times you only have 4 guys on the floor at a time? I mean, I got to think that this is the greatest coaching challenge of your career. How are you practicing?
Well, we're not. We're not only do we only have 4 guys on the court at once, they're all at one basket. So it's one player per basket with 2 coaches working out individually. And they're spread out at the 4 baskets. They get in their hour and 20 minutes. And then we come in with a cleaning crew and clean those baskets and floors, and 4 more guys come in. And it feels like basketball camp for the coaches. We leave about 8 in the morning and get back about 6 o'clock at night, but that's how long it takes to get everybody 4 at a time through the workouts. But that's the way it is, you know. We're just following the guidelines. And again, we're trying to get the guys back on the floor and get them going. And, you know, there's a bit of a process here. And it's okay. You know, seriously, you got to try to, you know, I would say that the shooting and the skill work looks like some guys are improving. Guys are in great shape. Just look at the positives of it. And when we get a chance to get them together, we'll get to work.
You know, Nick, an old-time friend of mine who's done very well in business asked me this a long time ago. He says, all right, the CEO of General Motors and the CFO of General Motors are on a plane with the pilot. Who's in charge? I said, well, the CEO. He says, no, he's not the pilot. So I ask you this, with what's going on right now, who's in charge, you or the cleaning crew?
Well, I'm certainly not in charge. I know that. The cleaning crew's up there, that's for sure. Yeah, they're right up there. They're doing their thing, and they're ready. I know that much, and they're keeping their eye on us to make sure they could keep it safe for us. That's a good question.
Do you think that you and your team has, I don't know about an edge, but the fact that, you know, you've got a bunch of guys that have been together before, even though you got some young players, they're young vets, if you know what I mean. You've got, and so do you think in this startup, and also the fact that you guys are really good, you know, you can sniff and possibly win this championship again. When you combine the fact that you're an experienced crew and you know you guys have a real shot, I would think, you know, there's probably only a half dozen teams that check those boxes. Do you think that that gives you not so much an edge, but maybe you're in as good a shape as anybody else to do this?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I think that we got a shot, right? I think you know that realistically, there isn't a whole lot of teams probably that think they got a legitimate shot, and I think we do. I'm not so sure the public at large thinks we do. You know, I think that a lot of people are picking other teams, and it kind of was the same way last year as we were heading into the playoffs. Nobody was really saying too much about us. But we know we got a legit shot, and this is the thing, we're really hard to beat. Like we got to have a lot of things go wrong for us to lose a game, and it happens, right? It happens for sure. But when you got to do that 4 times, it's really hard to do that to us. So I think our team believes in that. I'm just anxious to see where the ceiling is with these guys. To be honest, we've been hurt to the tune of 3, 4, 5, 6 players all year long, and continue to push out some results. And we're healthy right now. And the two or 3 games where we actually had our full roster was a good feeling. And I think there's still some upside and ceiling for this team to get to. And we got a shot at it. You're right. We got a shot at it.
Is there a sense of whether it's you and the coaching staff or the players playing a little bit with a chip on your shoulder this year? You won the championship, and typically that means you're the defending champs and all eyes are on you. But when one of your players leaves and goes west, I don't know if Toronto was an afterthought this year, but yet you're still with the second best record in the East, clipping at nearly 72% win percentage. It almost seems that there's a little attitude of this team going, you know, there's more to this team than Kawhi Leonard, and we're going to prove that this year. And that doesn't typically happen for a defending champ, Nick.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. I say this. I think I expected the burden of being the defending champions to be a lot heavier to carry. I thought it would be something people talked about more, or players talk, that was just kind of always present. And I haven't sensed it hardly at all, which is, again, probably a credit to just our guys. Our guys just kind of take what's in front of them. I think there was a very quiet excitement about, let's see what we can do. We had 22 games with Kawhi didn't play last year, and we went 17-5 in them. And I think our guys already had a little bit of a built-in confidence that we play a little bit different style and could play. But, we don't really – I don't think we look back too much and think about, man, we're the defending champs, and we don't really care that people aren't picking us to win this year. We just really got a pretty unique group, a lot of special players that love to play, and we just kind of take what's in front of us and see if we can handle that and then move on from there.
He's Nick Nurse, the head coach of the Toronto Raptors. They're in Southwest Florida for at least another week before they head to Orlando and get ready to resume their season at the end of this month. Well, I don't have to explain to you, Coach. A lot's happened in America and the world in the last 5+ weeks, and a lot of conversations have taken place. And obviously the NBA, a predominantly African-American sport, and I'm just wondering, have those conversations taken place in amongst the Raptors, who may be, by the way, as diverse an organization in all of North American sports? And I'm just wondering, before you came to Southwest Florida, were you reaching out to your players and talking about, and not to be trivial about this, talking about life and the pursuit of happiness?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a lot of calls with the team, the players, a lot of Zoom calls with my staff. It was going on daily or every other day for a long time. We've had 2 meetings already since we've been here, and we're all talking about not just the images or making statements or something, but we're working hard on some plans of action. One of the things I'm working on with one of my assistants is getting people abroad to register to vote. Since I am abroad in Canada, right? There's almost 1 million U.S. citizens living in Canada, and I'm trying to get them registered to vote, and that'll spread out through their platforms all around the world. Freddie Van Fleet, his hometown of Rockford, Illinois, is trying to push for body cams for the police officers there. So he's involved in a program. There's a lot of things going on. The head coaches have formed a coalition you probably read about with Lloyd Pierce, the Atlanta Hawks head coach, leading that. So yeah, it's a heavy topic. There's no doubt, but it's also a topic that needs our attention. And it needs our platform right now, and I would expect we're going to continue to use that and continue to work towards, actually making some things happen.
Nick, that platform's way bigger than basketball, but basketball is a great way to help deliver the message. That is the platform. How do you, as a coach, talk to your Fred Van Fleets and say, how do you balance it? How do you work with your guys to ensure that, hey, you've got their back for whatever they're doing socially? However, we have a job to do as a basketball player. How do you balance those two?
Yeah, I think that the first thing that I do is give them a open and free space to speak, and listen. Right? That we get the guys together and we don't. There's no basketball going on in some of the meetings. This is the reason we're having this meeting is to talk about our plans and ideas and any sharing of thoughts or stories anybody wants to tell. So that's one thing that's changed and has been different. It's actually been really unique. It's been some great, very long discussions and long meetings, and there's been a level of closeness, with some of the things that have been shared. And I don't really think there's a way I would ever say to them, hey, focus on the game. They know that's their livelihood, and again that they're professionals. They're going to play, and I think they keep that going just because of who they are and how professional they are. And there's certainly ample and enough time for them to push any agendas or things that they're trying to do with the Black Lives Matter or racial equality and justice.
Talking with Nick Nurse, head coach of the Toronto Raptors. Nick, final question for me. You've got, I think, 8 regular season games before the playoffs begin. Is that going to be enough time where you feel as if you'll be at least 90% as a team when the playoffs start, or are you going to feel as if you're, and it's not just you, it'll be everybody, that it's like, well, I know the playoffs have to start, but we're all at about 70%. Is 8 games with the couple of weeks of practice in Orlando leading up to it, is that going to be enough where you're going to feel as if, you know what, yeah, we're kind of sort of ready for this?
I think so. I think I'm trying to stay open-minded on it, though. I think that, you just don't quite know exactly what kind of basketball conditioning, how the legs are, how the rhythm will be. I mean, I kind of got a plan envisioned what I think I'm going to ease them into it, and then try to, in the middle of those 8 games, push some heavy minutes and then maybe back off a little bit on the way out the end of those 8 games. But I really don't know how that will unfold. And I'm just going to take it as kind of by a feel thing. I would say this, I'm extremely excited, I would say, about the way our guys look. Physically they look fantastic, and the way that their mindset is also fantastic. Probably pleasantly surprised, to be honest with you, that there seems to be so much enthusiasm, and again, so much work that was done in the 3 months that we're off. We've got a lot of guys that, you guys might have saw. Mark Gasol looks like a whole different guy. He's like trimmed down, and he's got muscles now. He looks great. And then Kyle Lowry looks like he's, in mid-season. He's cut up and in shape, and it's really interesting that for me that, I go in the gym and look around and I feel and see a sense of a team that's going to be ready to go.
Nick, we've joked that this has been the longest year in history. When you look back at Kawhi's shot against the Sixers, how long did it take in your eyes? As a fan, we know how long that took. In your eyes, how long did that play take to go in? For that bucket to go in, how long was time suspended for you?
Well, it was happening in slow motion. It's funny. I kind of, people ask me, what were you thinking about it? First of all, going into that, I felt okay. I thought the game, whether make or miss, we were okay. I thought we were, it was kind of unfortunate we actually end up in that situation. We were leading kind of most of the way down the stretch, missed a few free throws, things like that. And I felt like we had the game, not in control, but I felt like good about the game, and I was okay if we were going to OT, But when he turned the corner and let that thing go, I kind of said, that's going in. And I know that's super overconfident considering it took 4 bounces to go in. But yeah, that was something. That was something, man. That was really a moment. Certainly fun to look back and see that thing bouncing on the rim and going in, and his incredible outburst of emotion that you don't see very often from him. That was something to see.
And yet that only got you halfway there. You had to come from behind and beat the Bucks, and then you had to take out the Warriors. Nick, thanks for agreeing to do this. We really appreciate it. All the best to you and the Raptors. Stay safe. Best of luck in Orlando, and hopefully we can do this again someday.
Okay, guys. Enjoyed it, man. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Nick.
Nick Nurse, head coach of the defending NBA champion Toronto Raptors.
We had Ross on, and there's no doubt that I am a NASCAR fan because of one person. Make no mistake. This has nothing to do with the sport. We had Ross on. I liked him. I started watching. Now I'm watching. I was thinking the whole time talking to Nick Nurse is, we're not an NBA market. We never have been. And we have Heat fans here, and we have fans of all the other teams. But by and large, I would think a lot of Southwest Floridians don't have an NBA team. Or if they do, like, you're a Knicks fan, but come on.
Right.
How hard is that to do?
Right. And my Knicks fandom is not of the intensity of my Rangers, Mets, and Giants fandom. I think you're right that so-and-so, like
I'm a Pistons fan, and if they were good, I'd root for them, but they're way behind Michigan State, the Red Wings, and the Tigers. They just are. So I was kind of looking at that now that he's got ties. He's got a home here. Right. Maybe we should start lobbying. In fact, I think we should probably pick them up as an affiliate and be a Raptors affiliate and carry the games.
Ooh, look at
First and foremost. And secondly, I think we could adopt the Toronto Raptors as Southwest Florida's NBA team.
I like it.